If you would please open your camera so I can connect with you, because when I coach you, I'm going to want to be able to see you so I can read your body language. So if you would please, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you for opening up your cameras. That way I can connect with you. But what I'm going to be doing is context coaching you guys, meaning I'm going to be looking at what's coming out of you subconsciously and helping you work through that. Felicia is in the house today. How are you? Favorite quote from Felicia. She was in TCP on food stamps in 2020. And today she's doing extremely well, running a six-figure business. And all of that started in our time together. She's a badass. And I invited her onto my team this year. She's not doing live calls yet, as my senior coaches do, but she is coaching on the team and she does a phenomenal job at it. One of my other coaches also is closing on a new house today, but she was supposed to be here. She may or may not. Felicia, that's Amy. Felicia, feel free to chime in at any time that you want, but I want them to hear your story in just a little bit. And actually, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start with your story and any questions about TCP while you're here, so I don't have to hold you. I know you got all dressed up and everything for the call today. You look great. So I don't have to hold you here while because I'm going to coach and we're going to open up for coaching hot seats today. And Amy, how are you doing today? Good to see you. Amy Shooting. Amy Schutte, I didn't even know she was going to be here today. Amy can tell you that I think she was making what, 200,000 when she started with me, and she's over seven figures now, and that's in a matter of a few years. So when you change, everything in your life changes. But what's interesting is the amount of people, despite everything I said over the last 3 days, it goes in one ear and out the other ear. And what do? They go back and they put their head right back in their crap again. And then they cry a year from now why their life is not any different. Content is not going to change your life. You've got to change the context. And until you change the context, nothing will change. Felicia, do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's so
I'm glad you're
honored.
here with us today.
I love
Thank
being
you.
here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway was the control is an illusion. I remember sharing that on the podcast. And then also the content and the context. I could never, for the life of me, figure that out until I met you and got into your container. So I did all the things. Like I was like, I'm a doer. I have a shitload of energy. I have a high capacity in my life and I can accomplish anything. And I didn't understand that I was just working against myself the entire time. It was like me against me. And what I mean by that is it was me against my subconscious programming. It was me against the identity that I was given in my life because I was raised poor. I've been homeless multiple times, a single mom. I was abused on a high level. I had like CPTSD on a high level. And this was all prior to meeting Jim and getting introduced to him by Justina, who I
I was gonna
love.
say I didn't give you all that, did I?
No.
So no, I was kidding. She
But
yes.
Justina, she invited me into your container and it was so fast with you. I heard like two podcasts and I was right on board. I was like, holy shit, this is going to be the biggest expansion of my life. I didn't even care what I had to do to change that context of who I was. I just knew, like in my heart, I knew in my soul, I knew in my being, listening to your podcast, I was like, this is the person that's going to activate and open me up into this world. And that was the biggest life-changing moment of my life was joining TCP. Like I can trace back in my whole existence that this one decision changed the whole trajectory of where I was going in life. That one
What
decision,
changed? What changed? What changed?
joining TCP, like
No,
making
but
the
in your
investment in
life.
myself, what
And
changed my
you,
life. Yeah.
what changed?
Oh man, I get so emotional when I'm like in a container with you and talking with you, Jim. I just have so much gratitude for you. And I know I've shared this, but man, whew, I can genuinely say that investing in you saved my life from suicide and mental health problems. I can say that openly and honestly. And I'm in the profession, right? I'm in that profession. But the amount of lives I've touched, I don't even think you know yet, Jim. But and it will get bigger and bigger and bigger. I am going on a path right now that I have never thought I'd be on before. I'm going to change millions of lives and I see it. And that moment, you helping me in that moment is going to make such a huge impact. because I invested in myself, and what changed was everything. I can't even say it was one thing, Jim. My relationships, my health, I had overcome autoimmune, lupus specifically. I had overcome liver failure. I had overcome so many things right before meeting you and joining that container. But the biggest thing that you helped me with was my mental health, was me wanting to be here on this planet to step into my light and who I am, and to step fully into my gifts, to step fully into my leadership skills, my confidence, my courage, my bravery. Everything has been activated since making that decision to work with you. So financially, that was the biggest thing. The financial aspect was like, I don't know, you guys may not know my story yet, but you'll get to know it because I'm going to be on some big stages. But I have been through almost every traumatic experience you can imagine on the planet. I've experienced that personally. And the biggest piece was working with Jim. That was like my final piece to my journey and my path here. And I don't think Jim really knows it yet. And I know I'm like sharing a lot of this information. It's kind of new for Jim, as you can see, but I've been through a lot. The financial piece was huge for me. I was raised so poor. I went without food. I had to eat at my neighbors' houses to get food because I did not have any food. I've gone without a home. I've moved every year since I was 8 up until I was 34. Every single year I've moved. I have never had stability, structure. I didn't know how to be a mom. I didn't know how to parent. I didn't know what I was capable of. Everything came in line after investing into your container. And it just opened up an infinite amount of possibilities in my life because I made that decision. I chose to invest into myself, and I was willing to lose everything. I was on food stamps. I didn't have the money to invest. I was willing to lose everything to invest in the 12 pay. There were even 3 months that I couldn't pay the 12 pay that I made sure I paid before I did the second round. I went 3 months without even paying. That's how much I was struggling as a person. My first year as a hypnotist, I did 6 figures with ease. Like, it was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. I charge like 6 to 10 grand to work one-on-one with me now. And I feel like I could charge 15 grand to work with me one-on-one because I am so tapped into my potential, and I have proven over and over and over again that I can do anything. And it is 100% from your container. Your container, blew the lid off.
Well, we can go home now, guys. We're done.
Yep,
So,
we're done.
no, I didn't know what she was. I didn't know. I swear we don't pay. She's a coach. We don't know what they're going to say. I ask people only to come from the heart. Anything else is a lie. And I just don't like that energy. Do any of you want to, and I'm going to start coaching you guys in a bit. Do any of you guys want to ask her? And by the way, her story, everyone goes through the same process. And it can be a very cathartic process for a lot of you guys, but you'll get out of it what you put into it. But does anyone want to ask Felicia a question while she's here today? Just raise your hand, let me know, and you can talk to Felicia. Anyone at all? Okay. Felicia, do you, go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead. Is that Angela Kay?
Yeah.
So
Hi,
Felicia, all yours.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Thank
Thank you for sharing your story. I'm a therapist, and I'm stuck in my business to go to the next level. Right now, all of my clients come to me by word of mouth, and I have a website, but I don't really use it. I have social media, but I don't really use it. And what do you think I could change, or how do you think that TCP could help me take my business to the next level? Because I really want to take it to the next level and make a bigger impact.
Hang on, she's going to answer because you asked her, but I'm going to tell you she's laughing. Aishal's laughing, or going to laughing inside because she sees this. Aishal's one of my senior coaches. Aishal joined TCP for the same reason. How do I take my business to the next level? And it happens over and over and over thousands of times. People, no matter whether you're a therapist, a PhD, we've had a Harvard therapist, everything in the room. They recognize very, very quickly, whoa, I'm working backwards. I don't need to take my business to the next level. I got to take me to the next level. Because when I take me to the next level, my business will automatically go to the next level. Felicia, all yours.
Oh, that's such a good question. Thank you for sharing that. Can I just share something with you? Is it Angela you said?
Angela Kay.
Angela. Okay, first of all, love the Starseed Oracle in the background. Love that. I just want to share really quick before I answer your question. Do you understand how powerful you are? Do you have that knowing yet?
Sometimes.
Okay, because I can see a few glimpses that you've had where you're like, okay, I know I'm powerful. I know I'm here for more. Until you unlock that and see your power, there's no amount of anything I can tell you that's going to be able to take you to that level. So, like Jim says, the biggest thing that I tell people and how I work with my clients is it's like just making the investment, right? Just making that investment. That's what actually changed my life. It wasn't like Jim came in and did everything for me. It wasn't like the program came in and did everything for me. I fucking did that. Like, that's me. That's my power. I own that. I created that. I took the step. I made the choice. I don't give that to Jim. I don't give that to the coaches. I don't give my power away to anybody because I'm the co-creator of my experience and I get to decide and I get to choose where I'm going to go in life. And the moment that I own that power, which was just in the last couple months, like I've just really like have fully stepped into my gifts.
You've changed.
I've changed so much in the last few months. I know Jim sees it. I recognize that. It was me having to own that no one's doing this for me. I came from literal nothing. I came from sexual abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse, spiritual abuse, emotional abuse my whole life until I was 30 years old. From the point of 4 years old till 30, I lived in trauma, like complete trauma. I pulled myself out of that and I made the choice. So the moment that you decide, and it's that decision, right? As soon as you make the decision, everything will follow. Everything will follow your lead because you're the creator you're the co-creator. You have that power. Everything, there's so much going on outside of you that you do not see right now, Angela. It is like so orchestrated for you that you cannot see yet. So it's owning your power, making the decision. That's the magic. It's not in all the content. I can tell you all day long what you need to do. But it's who are you in it? Are you going to take the action? Can you trust yourself? Can you know yourself? Can you understand your power? And as soon as you do that, everything is going to fall in place. I don't advertise my business, rarely. And I just landed one of the most high profile clients on this planet. I can't even say his name because he's so high profile. And I feel like Jim, when he met James Wedmore, I'm like, holy shit, I'm going through what Jim went through. This is insane. Like, it's just so mind-blowing. And this person trusts me and loves me, and I get to be a part of his life and help him on his path. And it is massive. I didn't even advertise that. It was all an orchestration, and it happened when I owned my power. When I said,
you are single now, so you never know what's going to happen.
right. Actually, I did meet someone recently I'm really excited about.
So let me add there. She said it's not about the content. That is correct. But the content is designed in the coaching to show you parts of yourself that you don't even know that are there. So all of the content is written in a way that you have to self-observe. So it's not us telling you, it's you self-observing and then us coaching you through that. So did she give you what you need, or do you need more from her in particular?
Jim, can I interject really fast?
Please.
Just one thing to add on to what you said. Thank you. Jim's program, and let me just tell you, this isn't coming from my ego. I've sat with some really, really wealthy people this last year, like high content creators, speakers, people that are famous, and people that have programs that are incredible. I have yet to this day met anyone like Jim that creates what he has created. And his program is like, there's nothing on this planet right now that even compares to TCP program, the outline of it, the content that he shares. And there's a method to his madness. He'll tell you this as you get to know him. that method is beyond this universe. It is so profoundly, perfectly imperfect. Like that, I can't even describe. Because trust me, with my gifts, I can tear anything apart. I see through people. I find every little problem and anything to help resolve it. That's one of my gifts. There is nothing that I would change about this TCP program and what Jim has done. It is literal perfection in my eyes. There's no one that can go through TCP that won't have the most life-changing, awakening experience on the planet. And I'm not saying that to make Jim feel good about himself. This is coming from my heart. TCP changed my fucking life. Like the way he put it all together too, from beginning till end, is directly through Jim and his gifts. You're not going to find it anywhere. I promise you will not find it.
And let me add there something, we have a lot of spiritualists. Thank you, Felicia. Again, I promise we didn't pay her. We didn't cut nothing. I didn't even talk to her.
Jim didn't even know I was going to say all this shit.
Yeah, I had no clue she's going to say any of that. But most of TCP came to me in dream time, which we talk about spirituality a lot in TCP, but non-dogmatic. We don't allow religion. But our whole objective, mine and the coaches, is to open you up to higher function of mind, higher function of energy through tangible process, looking at everyday things like your responsibility, your self-integrity, your commitment, and all these kind of things, but doing things to ask you questions in a way that open you. I'm going to be honest here. Her results are typical, but not typical. Everyone that just does the work will get results. I didn't know she was going to say this. I mean, I would put her like in the top. We have some, like Amy's here today. Amy's knocked it out of the park. I didn't even know Amy was going to be here. Aishal's knocked it out of the park and on my coaching team now. I don't know what happens in people's lives, but I watch lives change. But some lives go through the stratosphere. And that's because they approach it like she did. Because I tell everyone, for the next 90 days, I own you. And what that means is make your life revolve around your transformation. It's not some program you just signed up for, you put on the shelf, and you get to it when you get to it. This program, I and the coaches and your energy, we are here. Do the work while we are here. You do the work, you're going to look back and go, holy shit, my life has changed dramatically. But you got to do the work. Angela, anything else for Felicia or anyone else for Felicia today?
Thank you, Felicia.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for opening up.
Yeah, thank you, Felicia. I didn't know you're going to. I hope we're recording this. This is good video testimonial. Damn.
I was so excited. I'm like, Jim has no idea. I'm so excited.
I didn't. Does anyone else have a question for Felicia? I don't want to hold her if she wants to go because I want to work with you guys. And after watching her, you're probably like, I don't want to work with Jim. I want to work with Felicia now. I want her to coach me inside TCP. And my coaches, all people gravitate towards their favorites. I run the main call on Tuesday, but you'll find your favorite coaches and the ones you resonate with. She can tell you, and it resonates with her, I ain't putting up with your bullshit. I ain't got time for it. I'm 59. I'm too damn old for it. I have no interest in it, and I don't need the money. So here's the thing. Just do what I tell you to do. Do the work. Do the work in the way we tell you to do it. If you're going to get into your self-pity or your poor me or your victim mentality, ain't got time for it. Go talk to somebody else because I'm not going to sit here and hold your hand while you stay in victim mentality and cry. Get up, brush yourself off. Let's go and let's create a better life for you.
Right. Jim, Jita has a question. I'm sorry.
No, who does?
Jita?
Jita. For me or for Felicia?
For Felicia.
Good Lord. I'm going to grab something to eat while you guys are working. Please visit with Felicia.
You asked us to ask her a question.
I did. I own that.
Hi, Jita.
Hi, it's Geeta. Hi,
Geeta.
Felicia. Wow, you've got an amazing story. So if you were to distill it down into one nugget, you're on your deathbed, what are you telling the world? What you've learned?
That's a good, that might be a little more of a like evolve container of gyms, or maybe a inner circle. Jim has multiple containers you can get into. So I'll do my best to keep it authentic and open, but in a way you can understand. I've had multiple near-death experiences. And my last one was 6 years ago. I was in liver failure and they were looking for cancer and I had lupus. And I knew what they were going to find. I just had this higher connection with myself and my intuition and consciousness. I've always been spiritual. Even when I was a little girl, I was very spiritual. And so I can say that's something that I didn't get taught, right? No one taught me that. That's not something I can teach either. It's something within you. But I had a moment with myself and my higher consciousness that said, you need to go on this natural path. And because I trusted myself and I listened, I went on another path and I healed my body holistically within a year. And that just sent me on a path of working with Jim. Honestly, I feel like it was all connecting me to the bigger picture and where I was going in life, which was connecting with Jim. I knew I was going to be one of his coaches. I knew I was going to be on his podcast before it even happened. Because I'm a high manifester. I manifest everything. And I didn't know that.
Hang on. Notice what you were manifesting in the wrong direction for years because you're such a high manifester. So she was using what was in her, the past trauma, to be a manifester as well, but manifesting in the wrong direction. So then she rechanneled that, and then now look how she's manifesting. Please continue.
Yeah. So everything that I've had is because it was within me. And when I got into Jim's container, that's really what I haven't even shared the story with Jim, and it's incredible. But as soon as I got into the first round of TCP in the first couple of weeks, I knew in my heart that I was going to be a coach, and I put it on Instagram. And my very first client that I ever got contacted me randomly, right? Randomly. I never met this woman in my life. And she made like $60,000 to $100,000 a month. That was my first client ever as a coach that came in. So I had some clear signs, right? Like the universe was showing me, hey, this is what you are capable of doing. And, just to kind of sum it up for you, I would say if I could package a container of me and what's really set me apart and why I am where I am, it's the surrender. It's trusting the process. It's trusting the universe. It's understanding control is the biggest illusion. It is the biggest, and it will keep you trapped and it will keep you stuck. And the more that I surrender, the more my life unfolds. And then I surrender some more, and the more it unfolds while I take the action, right? There's no one's handing me anything. I've worked my ass off to get to where I am. I have been committed, determined. I persevere through things. I push through things. I never give up. That's all part of it. But letting go, like I just had to let go of everything. And the more I let go and surrender, the more magical my life becomes. And even going into TCP was letting go. That was my first time actually letting go and just being like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay this, but I'm just going to trust and surrender to this because I feel like I have to be in this container.
But we do the work in TCP to help people make the money if they'll do the damn work. Most will. So that's why people will say, like the video from Ann, she made her money back before she was even done with the program. We give you the money programs. We give you the tools, do the work, and pay for the program before you were even done with the program. And that's exactly what you did. And, listening to all her trauma, I mean, if you didn't know her, you'd think, how does she have this much happen? What does she do? Smoke cigarettes and run with scissors all the time? I mean, all this stuff happening. What has she done to create this? It's karmic, I'm sure. But that's a pretty rough background. I didn't know all of that. I knew some of it, but I did not know a lot of that. And you and I'll talk some more about elevating you on the team after this coaching call, okay? All right, anyone else for Felicia today?
There was a question in the chat, Jim. I don't know if I should answer it. It says, Felicia, do you get up in the morning knowing you can do anything, or do you have doubts and go for it? Honestly, I am so fucking brave. Like, I am such a courageous and brave woman, and I didn't realize that until recently. I'm not afraid of anything. And I don't know if that can be taught, but I do have struggles. I can give you a little background from last year and why Jim and I are even doing this right now, because I lost my last relationship, my partner for life. I lost that. And right after I lost that, my daughter attempted suicide 1 month later. And I almost lost my daughter all in a few months' time. I lost a lot. I have been through a lot. And yeah, I've had so many days where I haven't wanted to be here. I've had so many days where I wanted to give up. I have had those struggles. At the same time, I have the awareness, the self-awareness of like, This doesn't have to be my life. I can have something better. And Jim's the proof of that, right? And I find proof with people around me of like, you know, if that person can do it, then I can do it. If that person can overcome that, then I can overcome that. I honestly don't know if that's something that I can teach anyone. I don't know if that's just something that I was born with. I just know that I will never give up. I will never give up. I will just continue to keep going at it and going at it. And that's something that I hope everybody has inside of them, is to just never give up and continue to take the action and move forward, no matter what gets thrown at you in life, because life is not easy. Life is difficult.
Let me add there something for all of you guys. So we've got like what, 60 people here today or something like that. And look at the amount of people who quit so easily and so quickly in life. And the key is perseverance in yourself. It's commitment, discipline, self-integrity, all things that we coach on inside TCP. Most people will never exercise those things. And they will simply dabble in something, but they're not living life. They're existing. As I've said before, they're marking time until they're dying. And they're going to bitch about life. I'm going to tell all of you guys right now, and I told you yesterday, you better start becoming a hell of a lot stronger than what you have been with things that are happening in the world. The world is extremely chaotic, and it's getting even worse. And if you think it's going to get any better with climate change and global economics and social unrest, you're pretty much mistaken. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. And that means you better be stronger than what you have ever been if you're going to actually thrive in what's coming up in the world. I'm not telling you that to create any fear. I'm not telling you that to worry you. I'm telling you it's time to be strong, not to be weak. All right, who else had questions? And I'll start from there. And I want to introduce one of my senior coaches as well, Aishel. Aishel, anything you want to add?
I mean, how do we add after everything Felicia's just said? It's just incredible listening to your story, Felicia. And I know, Angela Kay, when you said about business, I was the same. I was like, oh, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take a leap. I'm going to join for business. And within the first week, I was like, well, shit, it's not about business. It's all about me, because the business is just a reflection of me, as everything in your life is just a reflection of you. So what you have on the outside is a reflection of what you have on the inside. So it starts peeling away those layers very early on. And I'm not saying it's easy. It can be quite uncomfortable to have to look at that. But the way that Jim has led the program, if you like, is so amazing, because each layer that comes off, you see something new, and then you go to the next week and it takes off another layer and you see something. So it builds and it builds and it builds. But like Jim is saying, like Felicia's saying, if you don't do the work, nothing's going to happen. It's not a magic wand. It's not like TCP, take this pill, everything will be fixed. It's really down to who you are, what you want out of life, like how driven you are, how resilient you are. For me, everything changed when I chose to join TCP, because I was investing in myself, whereas I tended to put everybody else in front of me. So this was like a huge change for me. It's like, no, I was just like sick of the bullshit, if you like. It was just like, I knew there had to be a different way. I knew there had to be an easier way, because everything felt so hard. And I was like, life should not be this hard. Life should be joyful. Life should be easy. I should be able to be living my best life with my children and showing them, you know, I wanted more for my children. And to me, I mean, this is where I try my best not to get emotional, because that's been like, for any of you that are parents, especially, the greatest gift for me through TCP is what it has given my children, the opportunities that it's given them, the tools I have been able to teach them, the resilience, the like all of everything in the program, like I've absorbed, and they've seen me walk through it. So their trajectory in life is now completely different to who like where it was going 6-7 years ago. So like, Jim, I just can't thank you enough for that. Like, my eldest children are out there, like living their best lives, living their Dharma, like fully, like really fulfilled, full of joy. And that's because of the work that I did in this program. And obviously, as well as a coach, I'm doing that with all my clients and all the students in TCP as well. So the ripple effect is, you know, like Felicia was saying, like each one of us that goes through the program, we then impact, say, 100 people, 1,000 people,
Yeah.
100,000 people. And I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the world's not looking so good. Like the world needs TCP now more than ever. So I see it as like my duty as a citizen of this world to do the work in myself, because I know that will ripple out and be reflected in the rest of the world.
Yeah, let me add some. Thank you, Aishel. And Aishel's been with me for 5 years now. She was in the very second TCP. The first one we sold out in 7 minutes. And we used to have very large groups. We're reorganizing, rebuilding right now, and doing a lot of different things. But they will both tell you, most anyone will tell you. I love Coach Sandra. She's not here today. A phrase of hers that after when she was in coaching and she wasn't a coach, she was in TCP. There was one time she wanted to punch me in the face. And she said, I wanted to punch you in the face so bad. And she goes, I was so mad at you and I was cussing at you. And I thought about it and I recognized that you were right. And so I had her look at what anger is coming out of you. What is in you? What is it that I said or did that provocated that in you? As they will tell you, they're the nice ones. And I am too, but I'm nice in a different way. I'll just tell you how it is. If you don't like it, not my problem. That's your interpretation. I will just tell you, learn that. We do a whole week on interpretations. I will tell you how it is, and I'll tell you what I see, and I'll hold the mirror up. You don't like it, not my problem. I don't want to hear you crying and whining about it. And then people will get pissed off about that. And then later they're like, yeah, you showed me something I didn't want to see. And I was pissed off at you for 3 days. I wasn't even in the group for 3 days because I didn't want to see your fucking face. I've heard that over and over and over again with those exact kind of words. Look at Felicia. She's telling you their body language. So my job is to care. Our job as the coaches are to care about you, never shame you, show respect for you, to build you, but to show you the crap that you're getting into, that you don't even know it, so you can free yourself, so you can go on in life. All right, what else today? What questions do we have? And I don't have to answer them all. Normally I run these calls, but we've got Aishel here and we've got Felicia here. What else, guys? We're here for you guys today.
We've got Kavita has a question for you, Jim.
Who? Kamita?
Kavita?
Kavita. Oh, Kavita. Yeah, no, I recognize the name. Kavita, where are you?
Hello, here. Can you hear
There
me,
you are.
Jim, and everyone
Hi.
else?
Yeah, we can hear you. How are you?
Sorry, I'm good. I'm in Greece. It's midnight, close to midnight, so the light are not very bright here.
I shall remember Helen in Japan, who was in the very first TCP, because she was in Japan. She would sit in the laundry room while her family was sleeping and be in the laundry room on the calls. We've had people in Australia that they have curlers in their hair and they're in their nightgowns and their house coats and everything else because it's like 4 a.m. there. I mean, we get to know each other in the room. It's a very personal room, and we're all human, but we've seen it all. So, hey, laundry, wherever you are, that's great. What's on your mind, Kavita?
Thank you so much, Jim. And first of all, I want to really say thank you because it feels like dream. I've been listening to your podcast for a while.
Yeah.
I found it from Money Scarcity. I went to James Wedmore podcast, found yours.
Yeah.
And it feels like every time you talk about your brother-in-law, I feel like I know him now because I've listened about him so much.
Yeah, I'll have you here.
It's just okay. I'm just feeling like very overwhelmed and very happy. So I feel very stuck at the moment. I've been doing a lot of work on myself last few months. I've been traveling for over a year now.
Hang on. I interrupt a lot. We're never stuck in life. Remember,
My
it's
job
that
last
we are
May.
out of
I'm in Europe right
creativity.
now and spend a lot of money.
Okay, so
Yeah, so I'm stuck in a way. I'm on a spiritual journey, and everything you say makes sense, but I'm stuck to implement a lot of that. Like, for example, get in touch with my higher self, or I think I'm just like Felicia said, I'm manifesting the wrong things because every now and then I get a glimpse of what I can manifest, but I'm stuck in the small stuff.
That's not a TCP question, but I'll answer anyway, okay? And that's a spiritual question, which is like a program after TCP. But the question is why do you think you're stuck? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
Is
I have the knowledge. I'm listening to a lot of things, but I don't know how to move now with it.
okay, the knowledge is content. Knowledge really is of no value if you can't get it inside of you, meaning if you can't become that identity, you cannot become a word that Felicia uses a lot, that container for the knowledge. You can have the knowledge in terms of a book, but that's going to be of no value. And look at all the people that just went through Be Do Have, and they gather all this knowledge and they think, oh, I got all I need now. That's just the beginning. The knowledge doesn't change anything. So what I would look at is, where do you think you're stuck? Even though you're not, where do you think you are? Can you hear me? I think she froze on us.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, for example, I feel like, can you hear me?
Mhm. Yes.
Sorry. So when you ask me where I'm stuck, I feel like every now and then I try to imagine what I should be, and then I get stuck into day-to-day traveling budget, money mindset, small everything. I get stuck in, let's say, example, it's embarrassing, but I get stuck in $10 sometime. So, and I'm trying to make $1,000 in future, and I'm stuck in like a $20 here, $10 here, and as you say, your energy goes where your focus goes, and my focus is all stuck in the small things. I'm I'm stuck because I can't change the focus sometimes. I'm very happy, very peaceful, very calm person.
Wait, wait,
So
wait, wait,
sometimes I
wait.
feel like I'm in a
Wait,
perfect.
you said I can't change the focus sometime. Yes, you can. Now, something I'm noticing here, and I don't know if it's because we have an internet lag, but what I notice is your thinking runs like a freight train. Because every time I've tried to stop and interrupt you intentionally, I've done it intentionally. You just keep on going and you run over me. And that tells me that your thinking runs like a freight train. And that tells me when you get into negative, counterproductive thinking or things that don't serve you, you run like a freight train. We have to learn to slow that down and manage that thinking. You have a more subtle energy in your presence, but your mind is like wound up like a tight rubber band, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. We've got to learn to stop that and slow that down. But you're probably doing that because you're feeling like if you don't do that, you can't keep up. So let you run all over the place. In TCP, we call that plate spinning. Like if you go to the circus and you see the person that's spinning all the plates and all, they're running all over the place, you're looking like the classic plate spinner, that you're running all over in life trying to keep a plate from falling off from a stick. So you're running all over and now you're in action, but you're not in deliberate, conscious action. And that's exactly what's happening to you. There's someone else here that may want to answer as well. I don't know. Coach Lisa, have you heard this whole thing, the whole question? No, okay. Coach Lisa is one of my senior coaches. She's been with me since the very beginning as a coach, and we can let her actually interject with some of you guys as well. Felicia, keep it short. Anything you want to answer on her question here?
Yeah, I do have something to share.
Please.
So I caught the same thing Jim did, overthinking, overanalyzing. That's kind of you're shining the light on the actual place that you are feeling stuck. The reason why you're feeling stuck is because you're overthinking things. It's not because of the money or how much money you're getting or where your focus is. It's actually the pattern in your subconscious mind of overthinking and overanalyzing. So your nervous system is very dysregulated. I can feel it through the screen, and that is causing a lot of overthinking, overanalyzing. So I would say,
let me go there for a moment. And we don't go into that really a lot here, but what she's really saying, which we do in TCP, and she said your nervous system, your brain is in the habit of overthinking. So your brain is trained to run like a freight train. And we do a week on habits, week number 5, but we have to actually break that habit of you running like a freight train. And you're doing it out of fear. You're doing it out of, if I don't keep doing that, you learned it as a small kid as a survival mechanism. And then you learn, because everything we learn is a survival mechanism as small kids. So you've learned it as a survival mechanism as a kid, but you're still doing it. And that's what keeps you stuck, because you're in the thinking, because you're trying to create something. But you know what? You're running all over the place. You're not centered. You're not grounded.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. He just finished.
Hang on, so
TCP covers all of that.
we cover all that. Aishal, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, just to add to the same thing, it is the overthinking, which is so many people come into TCP with overthinking because it's how we're all trained to do. It's like we in society, we are taught like, trust your thinking, do more thinking, more logic. And so that's what we value highly. So TCP actually gets you to slow down and really look at the pieces, you know, like even you saying you're stuck, you're never really stuck. It's just that's the story you're telling yourself. So you even learn how to create new stories which are more powerful. And you go, what if my story wasn't that I was stuck? What if my story was that I'm resilient? What if my story is that I can create anything? And as soon as you start changing those stories, your whole identity, your whole frequency, everything shifts and starts to match that frequency. And then you start to become a whole new person. It's just one piece at a time, shucking away those layers. Like Jim said, it's those things that you've been taught to keep you safe. And it's learning that actually you can remove those things. There's no such thing as safe. It's okay to take a step forward and do something different. Because basically that's why every single one of you are on this call right now, because at some level you're sick of the bullshit you've been fed and you're looking for something different. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. So TCP is the next step in that. It's like enough of the same stuff we've been fed over and over and over. Nothing's going to change unless you choose to make a change, and it has to start with you.
Yeah, let me add there, and we tell people that. So you've heard from 2 of my coaches and me. And if that doesn't work, I'll tell you what does work. It's called, write this down. Do you have something to write with? W-I-N-E. It's called a wine. I'm kidding. I'm not telling you to go drink wine. I'm just kidding with you. But trust me, a little bit of that, and you're like, who gives a crap anymore? But we're just kidding. But we are telling you, you got to slow down. You've got to learn the center. And we actually have one of our coaches, Coach Sarah, do some mindfulness training inside TCP. Mindfulness training would serve you very, very well to get you out of your head and to start reconditioning your brain. Okay, who else today?
We have
Thank you.
Geeta.
Who?
Geeta had a question. A question. There she goes.
Geeta, where are you?
I am in London, England.
No, I mean on the
Oh, I'm
screen.
here.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Okay, got it. All right, what's on your mind?
Okay, so I've been on like a spiritual path for 30 odd years, making these sort of slow steps, and it feels like I've, you know, they're always different. There's always like the next level. So I've done all sorts of things. I've trained as a coach 20 years ago. I used to be a lawyer. I did this thing called transformational facilitation. I'm a Chopra meditation instructor. So I'm really like into the spiritual. That's like my thing. So I always feel connected, and I source what's next for me from that place. And so I do all of this, imagining it and la 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 la. And I have manifested a lot of things in my life. My life is very good in lots of respects. But this thing that I'm trying to create, which is a spiritual business, I just can't seem to do it. So I must be missing something.
What does that mean? What does it mean? I can't wait. What does that mean? I can't seem to do it. Let's take that apart first. I can't seem to do it.
So I have done some programs, and I've done meditation courses and so on, and I've done things for free. And then when I've tried to charge for them, you know, I haven't had the experience of people pay. I had a little bit of experience, but not very much. And so I'm like, okay, I need to learn about marketing. So I've been learning about marketing,
Mhm.
and maybe I'm just impatient. I don't know, but it
Hang on
feels,
here.
yeah.
So, okay, so I'm gonna toss this one to Lisa if she's available in a second. But I got a text this morning from my decorator in my house. She didn't decorate this designer. She didn't design this house, but she designed my last one. But she's helping me with this one also. And she said, "Morning." She goes, "I just asked Mandy, which is my sister. I just asked Mandy to ask DX for help landing a new project." And basically, she's saying that she hasn't landed any big clients in a while. And she's like, "What's going on energetically?" Now, for all of you, it's going to come down to what Felicia said. Surrender. You've got to let go, because if you don't let go, the world is so chaotic, you're going to be dragged like you're being dragged behind a vehicle, and it's going to hurt. I've been through it this year. Most of my coaching team has been through it this year. The energies on the planet are changing. And if we don't change and increase our frequency, which, let's put it in simple terms, how we feel, our emotions, our attitudes, and how we hold ourselves, if we don't shift on the inside and open up how we feel and stop dragging the past, life is going to drag us. But I wanted to go to Lisa. She'd been with me. She was in the second TCP. First TCP, shit, years ago, 2018. And it seems like she struggled with some things that you're struggling with. And I wanted her, if she would, to share her perspective on what you just asked.
Hey, Gita. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
By the way, Lisa's like me. She'll just tell you how it is.
I
Just so you
know.
know. She's nice here. But-
I'm anti-fragile. Go for it.
You're anti-fragile, but it's interesting because you're showing up like you're fragile. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, there's a part of me that knows I am all these things, and I'm a creator and I do the manifestations.
Right.
It's not.
So here's the thing. Like you said, you're a lawyer, correct?
Yeah, I was until I had
Right.
kids, and I gave up.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get that diploma in 24 hours? Become a successful lawyer? Like came out of high school and just were a successful lawyer?
No, it took a while.
Took a while. All right. So what you said is you had somebody pay for what you offered,
Yeah.
but then you dismissed it because it was only a few.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Do you think that growing a business would be similar to getting a law degree? It might take some time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But look
Yeah.
at the expectations you put on yourself. Like you should have it figured out. There must be something wrong with you because you're not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
You know, becoming a business owner, I know for me personally, you know, I was a great practitioner, but learning how to become a CEO and a business owner and all the things that goes into growing a successful business, that was like a whole education that I did not know I needed. And that's time.
Yeah, I do get that. Maybe I'm just impatient because it feels like I've been building that for years. I mean, I think I bought my
There's no
first.
maybe to it. I'm interrupting with the stop. You
No,
said
yeah.
twice now impatience. There's no maybe to it. You are being impatient. So, like Lisa asked you, were you impatient with your law degree? It took you 3 years or whatever it took you to get it. There's a process, but you're forgetting there's a process. Sorry, Lisa, I didn't mean to hijack your coaching. Please back to you, but there's a process, and you're being impatient about the process, and the patience is required in the process. Sorry, Lisa. I apologize for stepping in. Back to you.
Hey, I love coaching shoulder to shoulder with you, Jim. It's like one of the things I'm most proud of, that I can sit here shoulder to shoulder and coach with you. You know, even your kids, Gita, you know, do you expect them to be adults today?
No, they're very much work in progress.
That is everything. So imagine if you were able to ground yourself in the energy of possibility and excitement and loving the journey. Because I mean, you have to do that with kids. You have to fall in love with the journey of parenting. Some days you love it, some days you don't.
Yeah.
And growing a business is pretty much the same thing. You don't know where it's going to take you, but you know you're going to get lots of lessons along the way.
Mm.
But if you're constantly focused on I'm not there yet, where is the joy? Where is the fulfillment? Where is the fun in that?
Mm.
You're a lawyer,
You're
and
right.
that tells me you're achievement oriented. You're about achievement, and you have to achieve in a particular way. But to Lisa's point, are you so consumed with achieving that you're missing a lot of life? And if you're missing a lot of life, where are you missing a lot of life with your kids and their growth and their evolution as well?
Mm. Yeah. I mean, I was very achievement orientated with this work I did previously as a lawyer, and I guess I'm sort of expecting that also with this spiritual work, and
Doesn't
I
happen that way.
no, and it doesn't happen that way. And I'm also very familiar with surrender. I know it's all about surrender, so I guess I just need to let go of this some more.
Okay, so I'm going to add something here. This is where people want to punch me in the face. You're fooling yourself to some degree. You said you're very familiar with surrender, but yet you're showing us you're not surrendering. So you're not very familiar with surrender. You're familiar with the concept of surrender, but not the actuality and the presence of surrender. And for all of us, that's where the power is the knowingness of surrender, not the, well, I know what surrender is. So chew on that a little bit, because you're saying one thing, but your behavior is demonstrating something else.
I guess I haven't surrendered on this one.
No.
I've surrendered in the past to things, but I guess I haven't surrendered to this one.
No, we've got another coach here. I don't know if hopefully she's dressed and not getting out of the shower, but Sarah I, do you want to? I saw Sarah I here, one of my other coaches. Do you want? And by the way, I didn't ask all the coaches here. They just showed up because they wanted to be here. We love what we do. Sarah, are you here? Sarah I. And did you want to add anything to this conversation?
Yeah, I'm here on the Mom Show. So all of you who are parents, just so you know, I get it. Every coach here gets it. I will add that when you think you've surrendered, surrender some more.
Hang on, Sarah,
And-
because what if you had to surrender to in your own life with?
Great question. I had been a yoga and spiritual practitioner for over 10 years. I thought I knew how to surrender. And then my older child was diagnosed with nonverbal autism. And that was 12 years ago. And I am so deeply grateful that I had all of these tools, spiritual tools, mindfulness tools to ground me, because there were so many things happening in my life that I could not control, no matter how much I tried to control them. I had to surrender to so many unplanned things. And when I thought I had surrendered enough, I had to learn it again. And I always give the example of sometimes you learn something at the kindergarten level, and that's great. But how amazing that now you have the chance to learn it at the PhD level. And I've had the chance to do that in my own life. So many people shame themselves because they think, I thought I learned that surrender lesson already. And now it's coming up again, but I thought I mastered that. And then they get into self-judgment because they're not doing it perfectly. And if you're an achievement-based person, that can come up along the way. And everything that Coach Lisa was talking about, surrender, trust, do not doubt, learn it again, are cornerstones of the work that we do in TCP. And it's so important to have Jim and all of us coaches reminding you of this along the way, because it's easy to remember when you're sitting here on a call, and it's hard to remember when you're living life. And that's why we're all here together all the time, guiding you and supporting you.
And that's when life hands you your ass and you're like, but I thought I surrendered already. Well, no, you haven't surrendered already. And we're going to show you you have not surrendered already. And then you surrender again. And then you're like, oh, I'm all good. I surrender. And then you get, boom, sideswiped again. And you surrender and you surrender. And to Felicia's point, I have not seen Felicia like on a call in months, because she's doing some other things with me, but I've not seen her on a call. She's become a powerhouse too. I didn't know that had happened, but she's right. The way to build that kind of power is to surrender and surrender. Lisa's had a challenging year. I've had a challenging year. Sarah's had a challenging year. I mean, And and ISIL's had a challenging year. We're all like, what the hell is in the water? I mean, we've had that kind of year this year. You gotta let go. And when you let go and you get into that peace, that's when the clarity starts coming for all of you guys. But you gotta let go of that achievement, and I gotta achieve, and I gotta do all. No, you're working actually against yourself when you get in those places. Is that clear enough for you? Did we cover everything as a team, everything you needed?
Yeah, for the moment. I mean, I know it's not about achievement. It's not, don't get me wrong, it's not like I want to achieve this. I know I'm sort of called in my soul to do this. And
Stop right there. No, stop
Yeah.
right there. That's
Okay.
where you stop. I know that I'm called from my soul to do this. Stop there, but then you were going to go on. You don't need to go on. My soul has called me to do it. Now, let me work from that place, not any other place. Let me work from there. That's what you want to take from this call and spend some time. What does it look like for you to work from that place?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jim, can I interject for a second?
Yeah, 1 second. Somebody asked if we do individual coaching in TCP. In the group, yes, via Facebook, but we're moving over to a new app called Mighty Pro app. But on the live calls on Tuesday and Friday, we work on hot seats. They're called hot seats like this. We don't do like, you don't call the coaches, hey, what are you doing 2 o'clock in the morning? Watching American Idol? We don't do that. I mean, we don't offer that. It's not an individual program. It is a group program. But when you watch other people being coached, many times that will answer your own questions for you. Yes, please, Felicia.
Hi, Geeta. It's good to see you.
Hey again.
So I'm
hogging.
I
feel
I'm
like I'm
catching
hogging.
something. I feel your eagerness and you're ready and you're like, hey, just that other question you asked me earlier paired with this question, I can sense that you work really quickly and you're a fast mover, and I sense that you have a lot of gifts and your energy is really powerful and strong. I also sense that you're just missing it, and Jim caught it just now. Like, you're missing it pretty quickly. It's really fast. That happens really fast. Every time you are certain of yourself and you're in your heart, you're like, I know I feel called to this. And I can see it in your eyes that you're like, this is my calling. And then as soon as you go there, your internal response, because of where you've been in the past, is trying to pull you back.
Yep.
And it's like, no, come back here. Come back to this. If you can catch that split second of a moment and reframe yourself and say, whoa, 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 like, that's it. This is final. I am committed. This is the work I'm here to do. That's you standing in your power. That's you taking full ownership of yourself. You are the captain of your soul. You get to co-create this. And every time you miss that split second, I watch you lose your power. I see it just move out of your body, and it's like, boom, it's gone. So if you are empowered, and if you are the source of your power, and if you are committed to this work, fuck the how. Like, you keep going back to, well, how am I going to do it? Well, how do I do that, Felicia? How do I do this? Fuck it. Fuck it. Just toss it aside. Put a pin in
Not
it.
your job. The universe will do it for you.
It'll all orchestrate itself, and it will reflect you. It's going to reflect that heart-centered energy that you have. And when you come out of that heart-centered energy, you're back in the past, and I watch it happen in like 2 seconds. So you've got to take full ownership. Stop fucking around, girl. You are playing small. So just own it. Just own it. Take the action. Do the work. It's all going to work out. Just put a pin in it. Let it go. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you got it. So you've been bombarded with a lot of love and a lot of
Woo,
suggestions.
thank you. Thank
from
you.
all of us. Let's go to a gentleman. Let's go to a guy. We've had all female energy here today. And by the way, most men we attract have a lot of yin energy, which is not feminine like feminine lady energy, but feminine heart energy, open-hearted men. So any of you guys here have anything you want to chat about today? Where do you think you were stuck? Where are you having challenges in life? Anitra, do we have anything from any of the guys?
We have Dalkeith on the list. I don't see his camera on. Oh, here it is. Oh, he was there.
Okay, who's this?
Dalkeith, I'm going to ask him to unmute. Okay, he's been asked to unmute.
While she's doing this and looking, guys, notice what a lot of you guys are doing. You're asking a lot of analytical questions. Stop that. I mean, I understand why, because you want to satiate your 3D mind and, oh, what's this? And what? Stop that. Just look at, do I want a better life? Yes or no? All you're trying to do is find reasons to talk yourself out of something, reasons not to do something. If you do it here, you do it in your life. Now, I'm not saying you don't have calendars and you don't have schedules and all that, but get out of the analysis. That's what traps us, is the analysis and the stories and the interpretations, and they run like hamster wheels in our mind, just like you saw with Gita. Okay, who's up? Dalkey?
Yes, Jim, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So I'm calling in from Saskatchewan in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I take this time out to call in is that I think about 2 months ago, I found you and through this guy named Brendan Luzera or something like that nature.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
long story short though, so about back in 2017, I start a little online affiliate marketing business. And when
Yep.
I get started in it, I was like taking action, doing pretty well. And about 6 months after that, the FTC locked it down. After I lost about 30,000 US dollars in it. Since then, like my family just come down crazy, and my wife walk out, said I'm foolish. And honestly, it beat me down. It really beat me down. You get what I mean? Really, really beat me down. And so trying to trying to get back some of those money to pay back the bank and everything, you know. For a while I just stopped do this online thing. But I think 6 months back I started, and that's when I meet the Brendan guy. So I started back 6 months back. I get myself up and running again. But for some reason I'm not taking the action like I used to do before. So I
Wait,
don't
wait, wait,
know.
wait, 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 wait. Okay, number one, I'm Brandon's one of my best friends, and I was his coach also for years. Let's stop
Yeah,
there. For
okay.
some reason, I'm not taking action. So let's not
Yes.
just say from some reason. What is that reason? If you had to make it up, what is that reason?
I don't
Don't
know.
think you're
Is it
wrong.
that I don't know? Maybe I'm just lazy. I guess I don't know.
Notice, okay, now what we say in TCP, when people say, I don't know, that's a lazy answer. What they're really saying is, I won't figure it out. So you said for some reason, make it up. What is that reason? What do you feel? What do you think that reason is?
Maybe I don't want it like how I said I want it.
That's a big one. And that you have, then let's go back even further. You said you were building a business. Were you building a
Yeah.
business because, like Gita and me and the coaching team, it comes out of you, it's from the heart? Or were you building a business because you think, oh, this is how I'm going to make my money and all these kind of external things, and I can make the money and buy the house and buy the car? Doesn't really set me on fire big time, but it's a good business model. So were you doing it from the heart and from a soul-driven mission? Or were you doing it from, I can make money doing this?
I think I would say I was doing it from I can make money doing it,
Right.
you know.
I already
Yeah,
knew
I
that.
think that yeah,
Because-
I think that's maybe the motive.
Well, see, I knew that because if you were doing it from the heart, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You would already be putting things back together. But what happened was, as you were doing it to build a business, it fell apart for whatever reasons, but you're not truly passionate, because when you're truly passionate, you get knocked off that horse. And somebody that's got more passion than me today is Felicia. Holy cow, she got passion potion in her
That's
today.
true. That's
But
true. That's true.
But when you get knocked off the horse, if you're passionate about what you're doing, you will get back on that horse no matter what. And you don't say things like, well, for some reason, I'm not doing it. The some reason you're not doing it is because your heart is not in what you're doing. So where you have to go is back to the very beginning. And what makes my heart sing? What do I want to do while I'm on the planet? Not what do I think I can do? What do I want to do? And that's where you have to start working. Anyone else want to add there on the coaching team? Aishel?
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely nailed it. I think a huge thing is so many times we do things because it's what we think we should be doing.
You were
Or-
doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing what was expected of me rather than what was from the heart. And when you switch to following your heart and you switch to doing what you want to create in life, like what you're here on the planet to do. You know, none of us were put here on this planet to make money. That's not our purpose. So the first thing to get clear on is like, who are you? What are you here to do? What is in your heart to do? Because when you follow that, everything else just starts to get into alignment. And sure, there's millions, if not billions of people on the planet doing things for money, but that's the hard road to take. That's always going to be way, way more difficult than just following your heart and following that path.
And look at the burnout, look at the alcoholism, look at the stress levels, look at the suicides, look at all these things that people do because they're chasing money. We, all of us, we want all of you to have money, but as an effect of who you're being, not because you're chasing the money. Because if you're chasing the money, that shit's going to burn out, which is exactly where you are when something went sideways. Lisa, anyone else?
Well, and what you say around chasing money, like if you chase money, it's always going to run from you.
Yeah.
Like that's the irony of it, right? So you can spend your life chasing money and never actually feeling fulfilled. And as somebody who's had no money and as somebody who's made a lot of money, the money actually was not the thing that created the fulfillment and the joy in my life. It wasn't. So many of you believe that when you have the money, when this thing happens, then you'll feel good. But the truth is you have to feel good first, and all the other things will manifest from that, including the money. So when you're doing what you love, money is a byproduct of that.
Yeah.
Can I
So-
share something too, Jim?
Yeah, hang on. So for you, I'll add my final comment. Somebody else can add. So for you, get out of your head, get out of what you think you're supposed to have, what you're supposed to do. What do you want? And week number 2 in the homework, we say this, and I said part of it in the Be to Have series, but I say it differently in TCP. When you start talking about what you want and it's outside of your comfort zone or outside of your identity, your brain will start pulling you back, saying, you can't have that, you can't do that, which is where you are right now, because you're not looking at what you really want from the heart. The way you're approaching this is, what do I think I can do? And then you're looking at that from a very limited self-image. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I would say so. I would say it makes sense. 'Cause
Keep it simple.
I think that's true. Yeah, that's true.
We'll keep it simple. And you don't have to answer now. And then I think Felicia had a comment. What do you want? What brings you alive? What makes your life better that can make other people's lives better and vice versa? That's where we all want to work from. If we don't, we're going to hit burnout, exasperation, financial problems, and everything else a little later in life. Felicia, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I think you kind of answered or said some of the things that I was going to say, because what I'm curious about is I'm not seeing that spark and what you're talking about with what you're doing. I'm looking for the spark from you of like, man, I'm so passionate about this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do no matter what it takes. Like Lisa has that energy about anything she does in life. She inspired me so much in my first round TCP. I just saw this badass of a woman that like owned her shit and took accountability. And I was like, oh, I want to have that. So here's the thing. If you don't have that spark, no one's going to give that to you. You've got to discover this for yourself. So get on that path of self-discovery. What do I really want? And I really want to piggyback on what Jim is saying. Like, I had to get really clear with myself. Like, I fucking love working with people. I have to work with people. I must be in this work. I can't live without doing this work. This work is everything to me. I'm so passionate about it. Everywhere I go, I'm influencing and uplifting and helping someone. It doesn't matter where I go. That's my passion. That's how I know this is what I meant to do. And I remember hearing Jim say it over and over and over again. I'm like, I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting it. And now I'm like, no, like it's almost to the point where I don't even have a choice. I'll take myself to a retreat and I'm working on everybody there and I love it. And it fills my cup up. I leave feeling energized because I was able to help someone and be a guide on their path. So you get to discover what that is for yourself. And I can't rave enough about TCP. I love TCP. It is like everything. It has the closest, most personal, sacred spot in my heart and in my soul. And I just can't rave about it enough. Like you're going to discover it. And I really encourage you to answer those questions that Jim asked you, because man, it is going to light you up like no other when you discover what that passion is, and you will be unstoppable. When you know that passion and you have that, you are truly unstoppable. I see it in all of the coaches in TCP. I see it in Jim. It's almost like that unfuckwithable energy that you carry. Nothing can stop you from what you're here to do when you're in that.
You know, Lisa is in her 50s now. Look at her. She looks hot. Lisa, get up, take your clothes off, show them. When she works out, I'm kidding, Lisa. When she works out, she posted pictures on Facebook. I'm like, damn, that woman works out. I mean, she tackles it. She owns it. But she does it because she coaches a lot on that and the self-image and the body. I mean, all the coaches don't have a specialty, but they kind of do in the group. And hers is wellness. And she epitomizes wellness physically, mentally, and emotionally. But she attacks it. And I agree with Felicia. I don't see that spark coming out of you. Probably because you think you've been, quote, beaten down. So time to get back up again, get back on the horse, but make a better decision about what horse you want to get on this time. And that horse is from the heart, period. Any other horse is the wrong horse.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else today?
TCP is such a program about self-leadership and self-management, right? And that's really so much of what I coach on and what so many of the, it's just what all of TCP is about. You learn how to lead yourself.
Yeah.
And
okay. I'm sorry.
it's such a powerful program. I'm biased too, right? Because I've been here since day one. I was one of the first 10 people to enroll, Jim, in the very first TCP.
James and I only offered 50 spots. We sold out, and James, that before we did a webinar, James is like, we'll probably have 25 people enroll on the call, and then we'll spend the next week and we'll send out some email campaigns. We'll enroll 25 more people. So then after I did the webinar, which I used to do a 1-hour version of what you guys went through in three sessions, we opened the cart and we said, the cart is open now. And James and I are chatting, and Nikki, who used to manage my team, like literally 6 minutes after the cart was open, she's like, we're done. And James and I are like, what do you mean we're done? She's like, we hit our 50 enrollments in 6 minutes. And it's just the energies. And anyway, like Lisa's point is the same energy we have here is the energy you will have with you for 13 weeks. So you better put on your track shoes and you better eat your Wheaties. And there was this kid I was talking to, he's 23. And I said one time, you better eat your Wheaties. And he's like, what does that mean? I don't get it. I'm like, you don't get eating your Wheaties? He's like, no, I don't even know what they are. I'm like, God, you are so young. Who doesn't know what eating your Wheaties is? All right. Anyone else today? Oh,
yes, Amy.
It's American.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for your time, by the way.
Sure.
I'm from it. Thank you. So I'm from LA. I'm 35. The reason why I'm here is because I feel that I've been on this loop. Currently, I do retail business. I've been doing retail business my whole entire life. And I feel like I no longer feel fulfilled. I went through a divorce a couple of years, and I feel that took a toll on me just because of the upbringing that I had. It has been based on like, you have to have this in order for you to be happy. And don't get me wrong, my family, I always been loved, cared for, but I feel that it's something that I lack on my end. I feel like my mentality has been like work, and then equals happiness. And obviously I've gone through the training that you put out last week.
That's backwards, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so right now I feel that even when I go to work, I feel like I'm on autopilot. And even when I'm at work, I feel like I am absent. Like I don't even want to be there anymore. And don't get me wrong, I serve people. I love this, but I feel that what I'm doing now, it's no longer, I feel like it's not coming from the heart, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And obviously, like I feel like through my divorce, I feel like now I'm pushing people away. Because, like in my mind, maybe because of other people's opinions, it's been like, well, this could have worked if this could have been done, and that has been having me think that I might be possibly doing the same thing with other relations that I have, whether it is the work or just personal relationships. And that's where I'm stuck at. So I don't know if
what's
that
the
makes sense
question?
at all.
What's the question?
So what I want to know is if this would help me kind of realize whether if I want to continue doing what I'm doing, like if I want to pursue something else, because I feel like I no longer want to be in this environment where I'm like, working on this autopilot loop where I'm doing the same thing every single day.
No, it won't help you. Next question. Of course it'll help you. But what I'm curious about is look at how you're putting this together, which we do a lot of this in TCP. Let's back up. Look at how you put all this together in your mind. We put all this evidence in front of you, and then what do? You're like, well, I still don't know for me. So what I look at is how often do you approach your life like that? And what you're doing is what one of the people did very early today. You're in your head, and you're in your stories. We do a whole week on stories. I shall mention stories. You're in your stories right now. So, and you ask a question, we're very honest with you guys. Will it help you? Absolutely. But it won't do it for you. You've got to do the work on a weekly basis. You have PDFs. You've got to do the work. Now, how it will assist you is concepts you have not yet learned or started stepping into are responsibility, self-integrity, commitment, interpretations, vision, even this, week number 1. You probably don't even know what values you're working from. Neither did, who was it, the gentleman I just talked to? We have to know, like Felicia, it's all tattooed on her forehead. We know her values. There's spirituality and passion and helping people live and find the same thing. She's living her values. You probably don't even know your core level subconscious values, because once you know those, and we help you week number 1, once you know those, everything falls in line with those values, which you're burned out now in work because it's not a high value to you. You're making money, but it doesn't satiate your heart. So no longer is it a high value to you. Yes, 100%, absolutely. This will assist you.
Thank you.
Was that it?
Yeah, I'm
Anyone
actually
else?
a lot of the. Thank you.
Well, anyone else want to chime in? Lisa, any coaching?
Well, Amy, I just thought it was interesting because you told us all the things that you don't like and don't want in your life
Yeah.
and the that you're stuck in. Yet not once did you actually tell us what you want.
Like Gita did.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And
obviously, I want to.
go ahead.
I want to feel fulfilled. I want to make sure that when I wake up in the morning, I no longer look for that alarm. I look up for my day, what it'll consist of. And I feel like I lack that right now.
Right. So what do you think it would take for you to feel fulfilled?
I guess just finding my own happiness. Like Jim said, like knowing my own values, probably something that I haven't worked on.
But have you ever asked yourself what's stopping you from being happy today? Because what you're telling me is that your happiness is built on circumstances around you. But happiness is something that you can choose to be in a state of daily. So we're all human. We're not going to always be happy all the time. But you can choose to be happy today. You can choose to feel good in your life today, even when circumstances aren't necessarily the way you want them. And so many of us waste so much of our lives waiting for our circumstances to change before we can feel better. And a big part of TCP is stepping into the responsibility of choosing how we want to show up in the world and the energy that we want to be living from.
I want to add something there. Notice what you're doing also. You're speaking in what I call you're speaking in what I call a lot of normalizations. There's no clarity in the normalization. Now, what I mean by that is we ask you what you want. Well, I want to be happy. It doesn't mean anything. It's a normalization. It's just a big word. What you haven't done yet is defined what happiness looks like to you, what peace looks like to you, what prosperity looks like to you. So you're speaking in generalities, novelizations. Well, I want to be happy, but you don't even have a roadmap in your mind for what you know happiness looks like in your mind. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank
So
you.
you have to determine what would make me happy. Would eating fried chicken make me happy? Hell no. Would eating a steak make me happy? Yes. So I'm going to have steak for dinner as an example, but you have to, all of us have to know, and we all like things and don't like certain things. You have to know what kind of life, what experience of life do I want to live that would bring me that joy, that fulfillment, that happiness. You also did what you did for 35 years or so, not when you were in grade school, but I assumed you kind of fell into that profession, maybe the family, something, community, cultural. You fell into something, but that wasn't something you consciously picked as a kid. You fell into that. You lived a lifetime of it. Now, soulfully, you're like, I'm done with this. I got to do something else with my life. There's the soul searching. Get specific. What do you want to do? How do you want to invest your life?
Thank you.
Okay, thank
I have
you.
something to add if I can really fast.
Sure.
Do
Thank you,
you do you feel good enough for that?
To find happiness or
Yeah.
just
Do
to
you,
work?
do you feel worthy of experiencing happiness? Are you waiting for something to happen to show you that you're worthy of it? Is there, I just keep picking up a massive amount of you
Yeah.
don't feel good enough. There's some part of you that doesn't feel good enough. You brought up your divorce multiple times. So is that more proof that you're not good enough?
Sort of, yes. Mhm.
Well, hang on, Felicia, and both of you guys. I don't mean to interrupt. It's cultural. You learn this through your socialization as a kid. You probably grew up in a culture that was working really hard. You got to struggle. You got to work. You got to do all these kind of things. So you've learned that culturally. Remember the word that I used in TC or in B2 indoctrination. So what she's asking you is, what identity have you been indoctrinated with? And we see this a lot. When you said LA, my first thought was nothing personal. What part of LA? Because there are all kind of like little enclaves in LA. Was it Beverly Hills? Was it East LA? Was it Watts? Was it Malibu? Because wherever you grew up is going to give you a different identity. And she nailed it. But I was thinking about it from a different way. I was thinking, what identity did you learn to have? And the identity you learn to have is a very encapsulated identity. So then when she asks you, can you see this? Do you think you deserve it? You're probably automatically going to say no. You don't think you do, or you don't know, because you've been indoctrinated with something different.
Yeah, that does make sense. It's something that I don't think about it on a daily basis. So
Right.
yeah.
But we learned it as kids. I grew up poor. I grew up a poor kid. We learned it. I didn't grow up like Felicia. I'm like, damn, I thought I grew up bad. Jeez. I mean, holy cow. But we learn it as children. Most people will never learn what you guys are learning on this very call right now. Even whether or not you go to the next step or not, your life will be a hell of a lot better when you do. But most people will never learn what you're learning now just by watching other people and watching us coach the indoctrination. You have to shed that indoctrination. You need to create a new identity. So what identity would that be?
With something I still have to discover.
Do what?
I say something I have to discover.
Yeah. Is soul search. That's a good job. That's a beautiful answer. I don't know yet, Jim, but I'm going to work on it. And then soul search, what do I want? What's going to make me happy? Because Lisa started with, you might have been looking for happiness on the outside when happiness is an inside job. It's always going to start in here. And if you're indoctrinated in a way that you've outgrown, you're not happy anymore, we try to fight the external environment, creating happiness, but it's going to come from the inside. And that's to go to the inside. What makes my heart sing? Great job, Amy. We have time for one more today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Yeah, Oana was next on the list. I'm asking her to unmute.
Okay. Unfortunately, we've got to run after this. This will be our last one today. I will be in the group. I've noticed I did not ask them more than one time, hey guys, can you help me out in the room? We're going to be in the room next couple of days in the Facebook group. So if you got questions, come ask. Alana, all 5 or 6 of us are yours. What's up?
Hello, thank you very much for taking me. So I know about your program a little bit because my husband is doing a TCP and all your programs, and because he spends times to work on his homeworks, I ask him what the gym says, what did you study, what books, and so on. And most of the books and everything, not everything, books, everything you recommend, I read it, I smoke it, like do it, everything. And I wanted to ask first, because I see Felicia and Aichel very happy and motivated. How many times did they do TCP? Second question is,
wait, let's stop there. Let's stop there. First question is how many times?
How many times? Yes.
We just tell people the one time you want to go through. But what people find, and when I created this, we never knew it would happen. Lisa was there. Aisha was there right after. We never knew this would happen. After people finish TCP, they're like, I want to do it again. Because when you go through TCP, it's like shucking away like an ear of corn. You're shucking away the husk. So then you grow, and then as you grow, you're like, whoa, I want to grow even more and discover more things and shuck away more things. And every coach here will tell you, and they can tell you from their own experience, that we've seen it a bazillion times. We laugh at it. People that start a second round are like, did you create new homework? Did you do something new? Did you change anything? We're like, nope, we didn't change anything. And people have said a lot. Oh my God, I must have slept through the first round because I missed most of this. Something we tell you, week number 1, your brain will filter out a lot of what we're doing because it's not yet consistent with your identity. And your brain will filter that out. So it's up to, everybody goes anywhere from 1 round and they're done to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds. No pressure, entirely up to the person. That's the first question.
My question, because I asked the question because I saw Felicia, so like she get the power from the first time of TCP, or the second time she has a breaking point where she gets the power she needed to get up.
But hang on, let me answer that, please, just for timing. Everyone's different based upon what they bring in with them. Somebody like Alicia might have already found us and say, let's go. Or they could have come in and said, I got all the shit I got to take care of. And then we kind of help them release and they take off. We never know what it's going to be. So it depends upon how much shit people are dragging. The more they drag, the more we got to shuck, and it's kind of like rinse and wash, rinse and wash, rinse and wash, rinse and wash. But it's all up to the person. We provide the opportunity, but it's up to them. Any of you guys want to answer, Aishal or Lisa or Felicia?
Like you said, everybody is so different.
Yeah.
And you decide how much you want to attach to your stories, and that will determine how long you stay, quote unquote, stuck. It's not about measuring your journey against my journey or Felicia's journey or Aichal's journey. It's about you deciding to come into TCP and being committed to your journey and what you want and what's available for you in this 13-week process. So I'm curious what caused you to even ask that question.
Yeah, good question, Lisa.
Because for example, I see in my husband that he changed a lot, but so both of us, we need a breaking point to go up, because so our it's not a problem. We don't have a problem. We have a business for 3 years and we develop it year by year, but it's like it's working more on a manifestation than on working as calling the clients and so on. So when we are calling our clients or going to visit them and so on, so no order is coming, but from recommendation or from don't know where orders are coming. So it's like a little bit strange for me. So my question was how much it is self-knowing and how much is maybe I saying wrong, self-hypnosis or your particular exercises which you are learning in your course.
Right.
Because
So you are obviously an important part of your business.
yes.
What's going on for you internally is going to be it's going to show up in your business. So for me personally, the work on myself is what helped my business grow. It wasn't me growing my business. It was about me growing myself. So you're already seeing changes in your husband. Imagine how powerful you would both be in your business if you were equally working on yourself as individuals and then being able to bring that work together as a team, right? But you have to do this work individually before you can work together as a team.
Yep. Because his stuff that he brought with him, he's changing, is not your stuff. And the stuff you bring is not his stuff. So we see this all the time with couples. And your job is to nurture each other, but you're each going to have your own experience based upon who you are and all that you bring with you. Now, we see a lot of this with people going through the program as couples, and that as you go through, you will start seeing things in him you've never seen. He will start seeing things in you he's never seen because you're starting to change. Now, I'm going to be honest, the good news and the bad news. The good news is for many couples, it helps them grow and expand. For some other couples, it has them recognize, wait, you're not the right person for me. We need to separate. And I don't know which category you'd fall into. I'm assuming the first one based upon your preface, but many people use it to strengthen the relationship because they're both building skills and power. And like Lisa said, they bring that together in the business, and now they're a lot stronger in business together. Does that make sense? The first question.
Yes. Yes.
But hang on. Wait, so notice what you're doing. Also, you've already seen evidence that what we do works, but then you're still questioning the evidence.
No, I'm not questioning because look, only from your podcast and the books you recommended, I was working, manifesting and so on. So sometimes more than my husband, I manifest faster than him.
Then he should pay for you to enroll so he can retire.
So my question is, I mean, how to say it? So we have different jobs. Let's say he is the part of selling and I'm the part of supply chain. Right. Somehow my work depends on his work, but I contribute myself also in the growing of the business because he's in this moment, if he's not selling, I don't have the work.
Understood.
So something like that. So at this point, listen. So the question came after Lisa and talk about the self-fulfilling about what do you like to do. So I like my job. What to do. I have the satisfaction of my work, but at the moment, because we don't have big sales, I'm unemployed, something like that. So, or less jobs than I'm usually I used to do. So this is where I have to work how to.
I don't have the clarity though. I don't have the clarity. What's the question?
No, meaning that. I love what you do, but how to say it, I also based on what you said that to give to others, so like the reciprocity, so giving to others from what I know from my job will come back another job, another order, or so on. But let's say that from supply chain is like limited. I don't know how to explain it. Limited is not like Felicia job or your job to bring joy or to change people's life. Supply chain is to satisfy the client, to make them.
Okay, hang on. You're going into a whole lot of story here, a whole lot. So I know you're in that story in your head. You're making this 10 times more difficult than you need to make it. Here's the simple question. Do I want to become more powerful and stronger in what I do? Yes, register. No, don't register. For now, leave it at that, because you're going into this just tornado of stories. And even by your body language, that tells me that when I say that, that's not alien to you. That's probably a habit of yours going into the complexities of stories. That's not going to serve you in life.
Yes.
Get out of the complexity of the story, get into what do I want to create? Will this help me? Yes or no. If it won't, then don't waste your time. If it will, which it will, and you've got proof in your household, then go ahead and get enrolled. End the topic.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But notice what we talked about. Notice your behavior. Like if you watched yourself, but you didn't know you, and you watched it, and you can go back and watch this recording again, notice how much in your head you were. That is an obstacle in life for all of us when we get in our heads. Okay, so literally 30 seconds. Final note from any of the coaches. Anything you want to say before we log off here? You don't have to say anything. I don't know. I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to share.
I just, reflecting on my personal journey through TCP, because when was that first round, Jim? 2018?
2018, yeah.
2018, and it's 2023. I don't recognize the version.
Whoa. Your age is kicking in. It's 2024. You lost a year somewhere.
That's right. We don't want to go back to 2023.
No.
That was a bumpy ride. No, we're not going back there. There's just so much opportunity and possibility in TCP. You know, everything in my life has changed because I learned how to step into the identities that I needed and release the parts of me that really weren't serving me in my life. And you just can't go wrong with this work. It's so transformational because it's you versus you until the day you die. It's you in relationship with yourself until the day you die. Why would you not want to invest in creating a better relationship with yourself? Like, you just can't go wrong with it. And every single coach in TCP is a walking, talking embodiment of what is possible on the other side of this work. It is so powerful, not to mention the thousands of testimonials that we've got from students that have gone through this program over the years. So I will leave it on that because I have to run for a client. So much love to all of you. Congratulations on those of you who've decided to make the leap and join us. I cannot wait to support all of you inside there. And if it's not your time yet, it's not your time.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you, Lisa. Big hug. Thank you again. All right, Aishel, any parting words?
Yeah, I think, you know, this last hot seat with Oana, very similar to Gita, is to look at how much expectations that we bring with us whenever, you know, it's like, when will I have this? What timeline will it work on? When will this? You know, we have some expectations on ourselves, ones that others give us. And really the best guidance I could give anybody is to come to this place like an empty cup. Like, imagine you know nothing, because everything that you've been given is a story that somebody else handed to you. Like, we come onto this planet as babies knowing nothing. We don't know our gender, our race, our religion. We're a blank slate. So imagine if you could go back to that place, what you could discover about yourself. So really it's this unstripping of everything you've learned, rather than carrying around this big bag of rocks that you've been handed and you carry around as your own story, that it's your own beliefs and it's all true. This is an opportunity to examine all of that and go, do I know any of it to be true though? And like I said earlier, I'm not going to lie, it can be really confronting and really uncomfortable. But if you commit to doing the work, the outcomes and the possibilities that you can create are like infinitely possible, you know. And like Lisa said, we are all, as coaches, we have all been through it. Like every single one of the coaches has been through at least 5-6 rounds of TCP. So we get it. We know exactly where you are. We know where you came in, and we also know where you can end up and what's possible. And if you don't take the leap now, when will you?
Thank you, Coach. Felicia.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this has been an incredible call. Thank you everyone for being so vulnerable and open. I would just share, I was talking to this person that I connected with a couple days ago. I'm super excited about him and our connection. And I shared my journey with TCP, and I shared the podcast episode that we did together, and he listened to it, and he brought some awareness to me that I want to share. He said, Felicia, do you realize that one decision to invest in TCP, that one decision is what brought you to where you are today? It was just that one decision. Yep. I can connect every dot in my life of everything I've manifested in the last 4 years, everything that's happened in my life, where I am now compared to where I used to be. I can connect it to just the decision, the choice to invest into myself. It wasn't even about TCP in that moment. It was changing a pattern in my family line intergenerationally. I am the only person in my family doing the work. I'm the only person that actually does what I do. I am healing intergenerational trauma up and down my line, and I see it in my children. I have 5 kids. I've birthed 5 babies on this planet, and I'm watching them transform and heal as I heal and transform and grow. If it's not going to be for you, right? Because sometimes it's hard to invest in yourself and think that you're a priority. If it's not going to be for you, let it be for your family line. Let it be for all of the generational stuff that's going on the planet, and watch the magic happen as soon as you invest. Like just that one decision, I cannot say enough, can change your entire life. Just that decision. So get out of the thoughts of what is it going to be like, all the analytical shit in the comments that I'm reading right now. Well, how fast, how many rounds do I need to do? How many times do I go? Who fucking cares? Like you're here for a reason. Trust that you're here for a reason. You're on this call for a reason. This is not a coincidence. This is divine intervention happening in your life. Trust yourself, take the action, get in the program, start doing the work, and stop playing small. Jim doesn't attract anybody that is here to play on that level. He only attracts people who are like-minded, who are on the spiritual path of growth, people who are heart-centered, and they're here for something. Just trust that, and everything else will follow. Everything.
I'm proud of you too. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. And final one today. Sarah I. I say Sarah I because we have 2 coaches named Sarah. So Sarah I.
I'm simply evidence that if you're the yeah, but person on this call, that sounds great, but you don't understand my life. I've got too many commitments. I'm overextended. I have complications in my life that make it challenging for me to focus on myself. That's all just a story. I'm simply evidence that transformation is possible for anybody. And the only reason I'm sitting here now as a coach in TCP, which is such an honor, is exactly to echo what Felicia said. I trusted Jim. I trusted the process. And I was no stranger to personal growth, by the way. I've been a spiritual practitioner for over 20 years and teacher. I had been around the block and worked with coaches and done programs, and there is nothing like TCP. None of us coaches would be here talking to you unless we all felt this on a heart level. This is work that works, and that's why we believe in it. That's why we're telling you about it. So we look forward to standing shoulder to shoulder with all of you in that room. And if you have any doubt, if you're a yeah, but person, yeah, but what about me? Book a call. You can talk to one of us live. We're here to answer any more questions you have, though I hope after this call you have none.
I'm not here to coach. It's not a coaching call.
Correct. It's not a coaching call.
About
That's
any details you want. It's not a free coaching session. We're done doing free. For those that want to take, that's great. Go do something with it. but we're done doing that part of our work together. I'll do a couple more lives in the room. Sorry to interrupt, sir, but I wanted to point out, it's not, oh, I got a free, no, you don't get a free coaching session.
Correct. And now the only deciding factor is if you are going to invest in you. And if you're ready to do that, let's go. Buckle up. We're ready to do that with you.
Buckle up. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate you. That is what she said. Buckle up. We're going to run fast. We're going to run hard. You're going to get behind. That's what people do. We're going to challenge you in a good way. I mean, anybody can do this. We've had people from all over the world, 25 different countries. All of you can do it if you want. The investment, for crying out loud, if you think $29.97 is a big investment, you got a hell of a lot bigger problems than you recognize. You can ask Felicia that. I mean, holy cow, if that's a problem for you, you've already got some big problems. So, and we guarantee it. I mean, for crying out loud, we guarantee the work. If you can say we didn't do our job, and after this call, you think we don't do our jobs, then maybe you don't belong in the group anyway. We show up today like we show up every single call, every single day for you guys. So if you're serious about creating a new life, working with all of us, I mean, how could you not want to work with these beautiful ladies, work with all of us? Then click the link, book a call, get registered, and we'll see you in the group. We appreciate you guys very, very, very much. And as I finish every call with, the team knows this. We live in a very tumultuous world. We live in a world full of chaos. And the world needs people like us, the people transforming and growing and impacting the world. The more we impact the world, the better world that all of us live in. Let's grow, let's evolve, let's transform and make the world a better place for us, our kids, and our family. We'll see you guys in the room. Take care, guys. Everyone stay well today. Thanks, coaches. Thanks, team. I appreciate you guys very, very much. All right.